Hi guys, it's Kathy. I hope you're doing well. Sorry, I was in a very, very important business meeting. Yep. I know that is not secret code for anything. I was in a business meeting. AC. No, don't talk about AC when it's cold. So today I have a custody hearing. I know. I know. It's right. If you don't like custody hearings, watch chat. But today I have a custody hearing, and when you first hear the husband, you're thinking, nah, he's screwing with us. He really is. But we'll see. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's not. We're going to Georgia, guys. As soon as I find the right button.
So I got down there to talk to him, and he had told me that.
And that is the husband. Or ex husband. I don't know. I have no idea. And this is her. This is the mom. This is the dad. This is the mom. This right here is the judge. Oh my gosh. Hey, at least, it wasn't muted. Right? At least that's the dad. This is the mom. And this is the judge. Now we know. Now we're all caught up.
Michelle had made a complaint through the National Registry of Exploited Children, where you can make anonymous complaints through there. It goes to the GBI. The GBI sees whatever county it is, and then they assign that to an investigator for that investigator, and he got assigned it. And the complaint was that I had nude photos of Isaac in the hot tub. That was the complaint.
Can I approach him?
Right.
Show you what I got marked as D1.
Mm-hmm.
Did you identify that?
Yes, that's one of the photos. There were several photos, but that's one of the ones.
Well, there's a second page of that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You look at those.
Yep, that's it.
Are those the alleged pornographic photos?
I assume, and I mean, I don't think she downloaded a photo onto the website, but I'm assuming that's what she's talking. That's the only photos that we have like that. And the way that she had got those photos was that I had let Isaac use my iPad to watch movies and stuff at the hospital, and I had to went to work a part-time job, and she was working. I watched Isaac that evening. Usually I stay at the hospital with Isaac all night. And then all of a sudden she started sending me text messages of screenshots of everything on my iPad. She was going through my iPad, investigating, I guess. So.
I move to this is P1.
Any objection, Mr.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, P1's admitted without objection.
And so I showed the investigator the photo that we're talking about.
Hey, Salinas. Hey.
And he said that is not child porn. This investigation's not really going to go anywhere. And so that was, like I said, that was last Friday.
I'm not going to tell you what to do because you're a nurse, but love, that's not okay. That's not okay. I need you to stop trying to bring it down or get in there. If it's not any lower in 10 minutes, I need you to go in. I'm dead serious. I need you to go in.
And then yesterday, when I was speaking to the defense investigator, I told her I wanted some type of psychological evaluation done on Michelle. And not only that, while we were at the hospital this past year, there's been several times where probably about 4 or 5 months into his treatment, they had tested his bone marrow because he has leukemia, so it's cancer of the blood. And they didn't show any cancer in his bone marrow. And his mother wanted to stop cancer treatments altogether right then. There's a whole phase of things. We still had another, 5-6 months of cancer treatments left. And so I was able to talk her out of that. When he wasn't eating, she had stated that she wanted to stop his cancer treatments because he wasn't eating, but there was an alternative to stopping the cancer treatment. The alternative was to give him a G-tube so that he can have Pedialyte and things like that. And he only had about another 3 treatments of that particular chemo drug. And so she didn't want to give him, she wanted to stop the chemo and not give him the G-tube. And so the doctors, we had to talk her out of that also. And finally, she agreed to give him a G-tube. So we had to give him several feedings through the G-tube, and he still has a G-tube in. And my concern is that I don't think that she's physically abusing him, but because of some of the mental stuff she's said to me and stuff like that, and also the way I've received Isaac several times, where the G-tube has to be cleaned every day, and it has to have a piece of cotton underneath the G-tube in the skin so that it doesn't rub your skin and irritate you. Well, I've gotten him several times, and there is, I mean, it looked like it was, sometimes it looks almost infected or it's very dirty, where she was not, to me, doing what she should be doing as far as cleaning the G-tube. And I got him last night, and I also, almost looked infected last night because it didn't have any protection, and it doesn't look like it had been cleaned.
I'm gonna show you right now, Mark, it's P2.
Mm-hmm.
Can you identify that?
Yes, that is that's actually a picture that she sent me. This is when, about his G-tube, and as you can see, it doesn't have any kind of pad underneath it, and it does look, this is what she sent me, saying it looked infected.
Was this a response to you showing some concern about the fact that the
Right.
G-tube wasn't adequately
Yes.
maintained?
Mm-hmm.
I tendered his G-tube.
Objection, Mr. Green?
No objection, Your Honor.
I just admitted without objection.
So this past week, on Tuesday, I sent her a message and I said, are you going to be in Telfair County or are you going to be in Macon? Where do I need to pick up Isaac? And she sent me a message back, stop bugging my phones. And I replied, no one's bugging your phones, Michelle. Keep in mind, I have not seen Isaac now in a week because I haven't seen him. So I told her, I said, well, I'm going to leave Macon at 3 o'clock, and she never responded. I then got all the way to Telfair County again, and the house looks abandoned. And it was about 4:45. She has cameras set up around her home, so I know she saw me there. And this is there again, goes into, I believe, her state of mind where she just seems paranoid. So I know that she knew I was there. So I said, well, I'm going to pull my vehicle to the end of her driveway and stay here till 5 o'clock so she can't sit there and say that I wasn't here. And while I was there, I met, the neighbors came out because they were wanting to see what this vehicle was doing. I drive a Ford Explorer, but I was in uniform at the time because I came directly from work. And they came out and basically wanted to know, what am I doing there? And so I told them, and I introduced myself, and I said, hey, I'm Isaac's dad. And the guy said, well, I'm glad you're here. I want to talk to you. And it was their neighbors. And he had said that all the issues that he has been having with Michelle, and that he had actually had to file a TPO against Michelle because she was cussing him out. He was burning waste. He was burning yard debris in his yard, and he said that she had called the EPA on him, and they came down and did an investigation. And it kind of made sense when he said that, because she had mentioned that she believes that one of the reasons Isaac had cancer is because of smoke that he was inhaling from yard to yard, people burning trash in her neighborhood. And I had to tell her that of course, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But the mother had said, well, I sure hope you get in custody of Isaac because I'm concerned for Isaac.
Show you what I got, Mark, it's P3. Or could you identify that?
Yes, this is one I sent her on Tuesday. I said, I actually told her, I said, I'm not going to go to your residence. I want to meet you in a neutral location. And that's when I said, if you're in McRae, meet me at the racetrack. That's right there off the interstate at 5 o'clock so I can get Isaac. I said, if you're in Macon, meet me at the Kroger over there off of Tom Hill. That's right down where she lives. And that's when she stated, can you stop tapping my phone? That's illegal. And And so then there are other things here, and she just says, I need to join the circus, and I asked her, where am I gonna meet Isaac at? And this is just a thing of, she said, the court order says mother's residence, so I should be in my house in McRae, and she wasn't there.
Have you ever, I'm sorry, moved 10 or P3, right?
Objection.
No objection, Your Honor.
P3 is admitted without objection.
Have you, ever done any kind of surveillance on the defendant's phone?
No,
Bugged her phone, tapped her phone, anything like that?
no.
Okay.
And she has been kind of paranoid about this. Right after Isaac was born, she had an issue where she has sent me and her mother a message saying that she was going to end the world, end it and all that kind of stuff. And she had taken all kinds of pills. And I made a police report and had her phone tracked and they tracked her down in, I think it was Jekyll Island. And she was admitted to the psychiatric hospital there. And I kind of chalked that up to postpartum because Isaac was not very, very old. But since then, she has been under this conspiracy theory that they had done some type of AI stuff to her while she was in that institution,
Chris, I'm so sorry.
and that they are also bugging and tapping her phones and things of that nature. She has stated she is a investigative journalist, and she has done many investigations on people here in Telfair County and the sheriff's office, and the judicial system's all corrupt, and that she's going to bring it all down.
I'm gonna show where that mark is P4, if you'll identify that.
Yes, this is the text message she sent me about getting a guardian aid, and that the sheriff's office doesn't want to investigate me.
Does she, has she often indicated that she believes that your employer is helping cover for
Yes.
all your
Yes.
misdeeds?
As a matter of fact, when I went to DFACS here in Telfair County, I was under the impression that Michelle had went to the hospital in Macon to have Isaac checked out, but she did not. She went to the ER in Atlanta to have Isaac checked out. From Macon, she went all the way to Atlanta with Isaac because he had a bruise on his head. And there again, I believe also she did that because she feels that no one here, that I have such influence over everybody at the hospital and authorities that no one would investigate it.
Do you have such authority over the people at the hospital?
No, they have their own police department. No.
Might attend the P4.
Objection.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. P4 is admitted without objection.
Here we got mark is P5.
PCs too.
We kind of get his hand in here. You identify that?
Yes, this is a GoFundMe page that we had set up when Isaac first got diagnosed. We were hearing things of, hey, you're going to be in debt of $100,000 and this and that because Isaac has leukemia. So she said her brother was helping her set up a GoFundMe page, and I thought, well, that's a great idea. We don't know how much it's going to cost for Isaac's treatment. And so I shared it with friends of mine, and I think her brother donated a significant amount to it, and it wound up raising over $10,000 in the fund. And it was going to be for Isaac's medical bills and things of that nature. Well, we really haven't had that many medical bills. So about 4 or 5 months after the treatment started, Michelle had sent me a message and said, hey, I got a bill from our insurance company. I think it was like 500, maybe it was $600. And I said, well, let's let it go back through the insurance company and we'll see if, because sometimes they'll deny something and then you resubmit it and they'll do it. And I said, well, even if it doesn't, we will, we got the money, just take it out of the GoFundMe page. And she says, oh, well, I don't have any money in there anymore. And I was like, what do you mean you don't have any money? We haven't used any of that money for any of Isaac's hospital bills. And she said, I used that money to pay off my credit cards because I had put a lot of money on my credit cards before Isaac got sick to do my daycare and build a fence, and I needed to pay that off. So far as I knew, that she had used every bit of this money to pay off her credit cards.
Does it indicate on there, does it say exactly what the GoFundMe's for?
This is the help needed for leukemia treatment. Basically, it's kind of generic.
Stealing from your
That's pretty
own
much
sick
it.
child. So I remember the day, I'm not shocked. I remember the day my sister's bad news, guys. I'm telling you, she has a sentencing hearing in 2 days. See what happens. Anyway, she used to take her daughter's capsules and empty them out. And God only knows what she put it back in there. I don't know. I'm praying to God it was just sugar. And take the drugs that are in it. And her daughter was taking these capsules. I can't remember how we found out, but once we found out, oh my gosh, I just can't believe how parents can do that to their own. To any child. Okay, any really sick child, I get it. But your own sick child, that's a different level, isn't it?
For his leukemia treatment.
Fozzie, I just worked 2 doubles. My voice is gone. So if that's the problem, I'm not going to have a voice until tomorrow. That's just the way it works. I wish I would give it anything to live stream that. Tell you guys stories the whole time it's going on.
I move to C5.
Any objection?
No objection, Your
P5 is admitted without objection.
I'm also going to show you what I got marked as P6. Is this a conversation between you and the defendant about the GoFundMe money you were just testifying to?
I don't know if this guy's a sheriff, but he's definitely a cop. The dad. So, look at that, Bobby. Well, that's good because the court is
Yes.
the court is where it's at.
She had, this is
Court
basically where
cases.
she admitted that she had taken the GoFundMe money to pay off her card, and that she feels that it was justified. And she used $8,000 on a roof.
And that's why I think that she might have done almost all of this stuff. The wild accusations might be true because she sent text messages about it. She documented all of it to him. She handed it to him. Here, show the judge this.
Move to the P6.
Objection.
No objection, Your Honor.
P6 is admitted without objection.
Do you recall, I think you touched on it a little bit while ago, but in May of 2024, receiving a disturbing phone call from the defendant's mother?
Yes, Michelle had sent me a message that night before. She had Isaac, and she had sent me a message, and she has said, I will no longer be communicating with you through my telephone. You can start communicating with me through email, because they are, I don't know if she said listening to my conversations or they're tapping her phone or that kind of stuff. And I was just like, Michelle, no one's tapping your phone. That's just crazy.
I am.
So
What did you do?
about 6 o'clock in the morning, or maybe even 5, I woke up and her mother had sent me several messages and saying that she was very concerned with Michelle. Michelle had said that she had things coming out of her pores in her skin, and she was saying they were things that they had implanted in her, and she was having. And now that her mother said I can't get in touch with her. I tried to call her, and she was concerned. So I got up and I told her, I said, well, I'm going to go to McRae and get Isaac. And so I got down to McRae, knocked on the door. They were asleep, and we confronted her about what she had said, and Michelle said she doesn't remember saying any of those things, and she doesn't know what I'm talking about. And her mother says, listen, we need to get your medication straightened out. And so I took Isaac, and my understanding is they went to her doctor to try to get her bipolar medication straightened out.
Now, around this period of time, I'll show you what I got marked as P7, was the defendant making some allegations to you that you had AI set up to invade her privacy and hack her emails and all that kind of stuff?
Yes.
Was any of that really?
She wasn't saying I was doing it. She was saying someone else was doing it at this particular time.
Okay.
She was saying that there was other people were listening into her conversations and somehow tracking her or something.
Bonjour, Charlotte.
Objection.
No objection, Your Honor.
P7 is admitted without objection.
Now, have there been times that the defendant has accused you of having other members of law enforcement stop her, harass her, and do things like that?
Yes, one I don't have recorded, but she had called me up and said, why are you having people pull me over? And actually she was pulled over at that particular time by who she says it was a state patrol. This is when she was working, she's working for DoorDash. So this wasn't too long ago. And so I'm assuming she has me on speakerphone, and I hear the officer come up, and it sounded like a female officer, and she was calling the female officer all kinds of names, a slut, a bitch, a cunt. I'm surprised so I was like, well, I hope she locks you up. And I just hung up on her. And not too long.
I hope she locks you up. There you go. There you go. You made me say that, ma'am. You made me say that.
Long after that, I received another text message from Michelle that said, will you stop having your deputies pull me over and harass me? And then she sent me a video of one of a Bibb County Sheriff deputy that had pulled her over. And from the video, the officer pulled up to her and said, well, and she was like, why are you pulling me over? She was recording him. Why are you pulling me over? He said, ma'am, I'm pulling you over because I was driving down the road and you were hanging out the window shooting me birds. And she was shooting him the finger like, F you. And so he pulled her over to say, what's going on? And she was like, well, you have no right to pull me over and this and that. And
I think she's right, guys. I think you are allowed to give the cops the middle finger and curse them out all you want. And they can't pull you over for that. That's not illegal. Where's Snoopy at? I don't think that's illegal. I don't think they can pull you over for that.
That was just another case.
I'm going to show you what I got marked as P8. Will you identify that?
Yes, this is the one. This is the text message that says, can you tell your sheriff buddies to quit harassing me and making illegal traffic stops while I'm trying to do DoorDash? If you can't handle the heat on you, then stop being corrupt. And then, of course, I responded, no one is doing anything to you.
P8.
Objection.
No objection.
Admitted without objection.
Now, from recently, when you were told that you couldn't get the child or you couldn't get the child without going to the park with her supervising and things of that nature, so until you got the child last night, how long was it before that you were allowed not to see your child?
Sunday after Thanksgiving is the last time I had him. I don't know what the date of that is, but I wasn't able to get him that Tuesday and then Thursday and then also this past Tuesday.
Yeah, but what if you're hanging out the side of your best friend's car, trying to holler at someone?
So there was three,
The last one, 8.
there was like 3 dates. Yeah, whatever that first Tuesday is after Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
And I sent her several messages saying, listen, I mean, can you at least let me know something about Isaac? I mean, I haven't heard anything from you, and she never responded. I even sent her mother a message, and she never responded. And then this past Tuesday, that's when she finally responded, and she also said, hey, could you quit sending my mother text messages and things like that? She doesn't want to talk to you either.
Do you recall a time when the defendant lashed out at you because of some damage to her car that you had absolutely nothing to do with?
Is anyone still here? My internet just completely crashed. Oh, our internet's back? I'm not showing up in my live yet. Alright, it looks like my internet's back. I'm hotspotting right now. But I don't see me. Oh. I I was behind in my YouTube of my channel, so I thought I wasn't on yet. So I thought you guys couldn't see me. I still can't see me over there. To me it looks like, yeah. Alright, I am very blurry. I'm gonna try to put All right, I'm gonna leave hotspot on. Screw it. I'm gonna. Okay, so hotspotting from my phone. So hopefully this will go well. Stupid internet.
Yeah, there probably a text message about that too. But, yeah, I guess there was some damage or something that she had done something and she kind of lashed out at me about, some damage and how much it's going to cost to get it fixed and stuff. And somehow it's my fault. I wasn't, I don't know. I've gotten kind of where I kind of don't pay attention to some of the stuff, but I just record it.
So we got more SP now. You identify that?
Yes, this is where she sent me a text message that says, she showed me a picture, I did this damage to my car, and now I'm gonna have to incur the cost and be thankful that that her taxes pay all my bills and gas and insurance, and you get to go on vacation on the taxpayer's dime. And,
How many police officers hear that? Is there a police officer that has never heard, well, my taxes pay your paycheck, so you work for me? Is there even one that has never heard that?
Move to center P now.
Objection.
No objection.
Submitted without objection.
Now, just to use the defendant's language, do you run with a lot of whores and have them around Isaac?
no, I haven't really dated anybody really since Isaac's been born.
Do you recall a time when the defendant contacted your hairdresser?
Oh, yes, well, after I guess that picture that was on my Apple Watch, she had contacted several people I guess she started going through my Facebook and was looking at people that looked familiar, looked like this particular person. And one of the people was actually Roy Ficklin's wife, who owns Fickling and Company. And they're friends of mine. And she had sent me a message and said, hey, what is this about? And Michelle had sent her a message in Facebook saying, why are you sending my baby's daddy or showing your nude photos to Michael? And she was like, what? I was like, that was kind of very embarrassing, of course, because it wasn't her at all, and she's a married woman. And then she had also sent stuff to my hairdresser, basically. Actually, she had responded to a post that my hairdresser made like 7 years ago. I guess she was going through her Facebook stuff, thinking that she was the one who was sending me stuff. And my hairdresser, Kelly, had sent me a message about that also, where she had.
Okay, right now, how bad is court? Is it okay, or should I stop the stream?
Commented on a page of hers, and so she wound up having to block her and stuff like that.
Is that the conversation concerning the hairdresser?
Yeah, and if you I don't know if you can see it on here. I don't have my glasses, but the date
Oh
on.
my God. I haunt you. Are you a police officer? Are you a cop? Are you Popo? Do you know that my taxes pay your salary? That's so cool. That is so cool. No wonder you're so quiet. Because you're watching. You're watching everything. So you can recall it precisely in court later.
There, I think it says it was how long ago that comment was, and it was like I said, I think it's 7 years ago. And so she had made a comment on one of her posts, so she went deep into her Facebook page, I guess.
I'll move into PT.
Objection.
No objection.
P10 is admitted without objection.
I'm gonna show where I got marked as P11. You explain that particular document? Communication?
Yes, this is one here just in the last several days where I said, where are we meeting at? And Michelle kind of
Hiya.
goes on a little rant saying, well, you haven't been following the laws of the land and you abuse children. And the current order says the mother's residence. So this is when she said I should be at McRae. And this is on one of the days that I went all the way to McRae and she wasn't there. And that's when I filed the report through the sheriff's office again. And she also said, after that, she said, you can have supervised visits with Isaac. And I said, well, I'm sure it's not going to be
Gotcha.
supervised by you on a supervised visit. And I said, no, that's not what we're going to do. And then Michelle also says
My taxes still pay your salary.
that Bibb County Defects had ignored the complaint and gave him the cold shoulder. And that, I guess that's when she said she was going to Telfair County Court.
Objection.
No objection.
I thought you does not work at a courthouse as a cop. That was my fault. I just jump to conclusions all the time. And then I say them out loud. And then 50 people believe me.
Mr. Cannon, I want to remind you that this is a temporary hearing.
I am, Your Honor. I'm done with the exhibits.
Usually I only allow an hour for both sides.
I understand, Your Honor. Are we getting any deference today since we're the only case? Just so I'll know how to, I'm moving along.
The case was specially set. I took time out of my other duties to come to handle this. So I'd move it on.
Yes,
I've got the picture.
yes.
Okay. Now you just heard a prerequisite of what's gonna happen. So he keeps going over every crazy thing the mom is doing, but unfortunately the mom keeps doing crazy things, so there's so much. The judge is like, enough. I got it. I understand. Then the mom's gonna get on the stand soon. This lawyer has already used up any patience this judge has in his body. The judge has no patience left for the mom gets on stand, and it's wonderful.
Mr. Biddick, have you ever abused your child
No. I
in
have
any
not.
way?
No.
Physically, emotionally, in any way?
No, I have not.
Okay. Have you ever left guns where he could get access to those?
No.
Have you ever exposed him to pornography or anything improper?
No, I have
such as
not.
that?
No, I have not.
Now, do you have legitimate concerns about Ms. Brock?
Yes, I do. With the combination of all this we're talking about here, I have, concerns of the welfare of Isaac and how he's going to be cared for, especially with her wanting to stop some of his cancer treatments, because we still have to give him cancer medication by pill every day. And so I don't know, is she actually still even giving him that cancer medication? I don't know.
What are you asking the court to do today?
I'm asking the court to give me full custody of Isaac until we can
Let
have
me
him.
understand what your schedule is and how, if I give you full custody, how you gonna handle this child that's almost 3 years old, battling leukemia, and how you gonna take care of it?
Well, my schedule is pretty flexible, and I also have my best friend, which is his wife would watch Isaac if I needed. I can do a lot of work.
What's your schedule, sir?
My best schedule is Monday through Friday.
You work a 40-hour week?
Yes, sir. I'm a salary employee. And I can do a lot of work from the house.
Basically, what do you, if you go into the office, what are your office hours?
Well, normally it's 9 to 4.
And you say you got a friend whose wife helps you with Isaac?
Well, she can, yes, but I can, I usually, I can work home from the house at least 3 days a week if I needed to. I did that during his cancer treatments.
Is he
I
still
hope.
undergoing cancer treatment?
He is not going through the aggressive stuff. He's in what's called maintenance phase now. And so he only has to be.
Trust me, I know all about it.
So he only has to go to the doctor now once a month to get his numbers checked.
So you don't necessarily need mama to help you.
No. And I'm also making arrangements currently for, to put him in daycare. As long as his numbers are good, he can go to daycare.
Are his numbers good enough now to go to daycare?
They were good the last check. I'll do another check on Tuesday, but they have been good, yes.
That's yes, they've been good enough to go to daycare.
Yes. But currently, my plan would be for me to watch him and for my best friend's wife to watch him also.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Candy?
Mr. Bittiger, are you planning to retire in the near future?
I will retire when I turn 50, which is about a year and a half.
So you got a year and a half left before you can retire? Do you plan to retire then?
I do.
Okay, and at that point in time, will you have all the free time?
Yeah, I will have, free time, yeah.
Just to finish up, as far, because we're here on a temporary hearing, was this supposed to be your visitation weekend?
Yes, this is my
Hi,
weekend.
Kelly.
Did you have a vacation plan?
Yes, we're going to Blue Ridge.
Is it already paid, prepaid?
It's paid, yeah.
And
the
when are
train
you
trip.
supposed to leave?
I was supposed to leave yesterday.
Okay. Can you still go?
Yes, I can still go.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Cross-examination, Mr. Green?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, sir, how would you describe your relationship with your child?
The child is 2 right now, almost 3.
Oh, it's a loving relationship. I couldn't see my life without Isaac.
Can you detail your involvement in your child's daily routine and caregiving?
Especially when he was going through cancer treatment, I was basically having him probably over 50% of the time. But whenever he's with me, we do things. We'll go places, or we'll just be at the house, and I make sure he's taken care of with all his cancer treatments and his medications and things of that nature. So we have a great relationship.
Do you know what medications he's on currently?
I don't know the actual long names of them. He's on a cancer pill. He takes one pill Monday through Friday, and then a half a pill on Saturday and Sunday. And then every Tuesday he has some medication he has to take. And then on the weekends he also has to take a thing called Bactrim, I think it's like a pink medication. But that's what he currently has, and maybe we'll have that for probably about another month, and then go to something else.
Do you know how to administer those medications to him?
How to administer it?
Yes.
What I do is, because he has a G-tube, I break up the pills, and then I put it into water, and I give that medication through the G-tube. And if it wasn't through the G-tube, it would be orally.
Are you familiar with his needs as far as other healthcare, eating, and his nutritional habits and things
It
like
looks like leukemia, and it looks like they have it. It's in the maintenance stage right now, so they have it under control. I don't know if that's the right phrase for it.
that?
Well, the reason we put the G-tube in there because he wasn't eating, but he seems to be eating fine now. And also, I had ordered we had ordered a kit to be able to test his blood sugar. His blood sugar has been fine. I'm the one who tests his blood sugar. I don't know if she's ever tested his blood sugar.
Did you have a conversation at some point about not even knowing what size shoe he wears?
Well,
Not knowing what?
Not knowing what size shoe he wears?
yeah, I'm sure I probably did. I sent her a message saying not too long ago, said, what size shoe does Isaac wear? And
I'm not gonna decide this case on whether a
I
father
don't-
knows what size shoe he wears.
I don't know.
Mr. Green, hold on, sir. Let's talk about something of significance.
Yes, sir. What are the current custody and visitation arrangements between you and the child's mother?
the
I assume it's under the parenting plan, isn't it?
Are you
current
abiding by
parenting
that?
plan, Tuesdays, I get him on Tuesdays at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm supposed to return him on Wednesday morning at 8. And then Thursdays at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, return them at 8, and then every other weekend.
And have y'all been abiding by that?
Oh, Mike.
We have until she stopped
Micah, that's horrible. That must have been very hard.
letting me get him. But during his cancer treatments, we wasn't abiding by that. We were going by his cancer schedule.
Was all that by agreement?
Yes.
And have you been recently charged, excuse me, are you aware of the specific allegations?
My internet went down, so I threw the hotspot on my phone real quick to get this going. And unfortunately, my internet goes down so much that I already know how to put my hotspot on and get it back on, sort of. And I shouldn't have to know how to do this yet. My internet should not go down.
Of physical abuse against your child?
Yes, I'm aware, and they're all being investigated or have been investigated.
Okay. And have you been able to account for your actions and whereabouts during these incidents?
During what?
During these incidents, when you've been investigated, have you accounted for your actions and whereabouts during these?
Yes, I've given detailed explanations, and we also had a meeting with defects counselors yesterday.
Have you ever disciplined your child physically?
True, Brad.
Yes, I'm sure. Yes, I have. Yeah.
Okay. What physical methods have you used to discipline your child?
Just to pop them on the butt or something like that, or the leg. Or I would raise my voice to them.
And you've admitted that your child has arrived back at his mother's house with physical bruising, and you, I mean, I understand you're kind of dismissive of it, but you admit he's arrived back home with marks on him.
Yes, he's had bruises on him. That's correct.
If you have a chance to get fiber and you can afford that fiber, get fiber.
And did you observe how these bruises occurred on your child?
Well, I mean, he's 2 years old. He throws tantrums. He's a very physical little kid. You've probably seen him in here today. He runs all over the place. He'll run into you with his head. He just gets, he's a typical 2-year-old. He gets bumps and bruises.
And were you able to, you feel like adequately explain to his mother how these injuries occurred in your care?
I have definitely tried to explain that, one, especially when he was going under the intense chemo, he bruises easily, probably more easily than any other 2-year-old. And he's going to have bruises on him. And that just because he has bruises on him doesn't mean he's being abused. I also don't think that the mother is abusing him either. He just has bruises on him.
Have you noticed any changes in your child's behavior or emotional state during or after visits to you?
Well, I mean, I think every child in this situation is going to have he'll cry or something like, saying, I don't want to, when he's, separation anxiety at that age, definitely. So that's the only thing that we've noticed. And that's on both sides. One time I took him back to Michelle, and she had called me that evening and said, hey, he has been crying, saying he wants to go back to his daddy's house, and she brought him back over and let him spend some time with me. So it kind of goes both ways. So he's at my house. Sometimes he'll sit there and say, I want my mommy. It's just, I think that's what every child probably does at that age.
Does he typically have a certain reaction when it's time to return to his mom?
No, he doesn't ever have a reaction. He loves seeing his mother.
Have you ever had discussions with his mom regarding her concerns about your interactions with your child?
What, can you repeat the question?
Have you had discussions with my client about your interactions with your child?
Yes. I mean, I explained to you, Deanna, just what I explained to her, that these things happen. A child of that age, and especially going under treatment, is going to have bruises and stuff. And I mean, there's a big difference between him having a bruise here and there and actually being abused. I mean, if he was being abused, he would have much more significant things on him.
You've got 27 years in law enforcement.
Hold on. We've only heard Dad's side of it so far.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
In that time, have you ever had a incident or a occasion to track someone using their cellular phone?
On investigations, yes. I even tracked her whenever she was going to, when we figured she was saying she was taking pills and committing, wasn't answering her phone. We tracked, that's how we found her. We pinged her phone.
I understood.
And when you have been investigated by your testimony today, it seems that some of these investigators call you and tell you she's called them or opened some cases. Is that your testimony?
The only time that someone has called me is when I needed to come down and give a statement. Our internal affairs called me, I gave a statement, and this is after she had made allegations, and then the Crimes Against Children investigator called me, and I came down and gave a statement.
And you said that you've kind of gotten to the point where when you're talking to her, you just kind of dismiss her concerns.
Well, I mean, this has been going on now for really since Isaac's been born, but it seems now to just get generally worse and worse. So yes, I have been certain times where I just kind of dismiss some of the stuff she sends me.
Did you admit that you said, yes, your child has bruises in your care? Yes, your child was exposed to pornography in your care. You admit that, correct? You said that today. You admit your child was exposed to pornography while in your care.
No, I didn't admit that. No, he has not been exposed to pornography in my care.
Did you not?
The only time that what we're talking about is when she said that Isaac had my Apple Watch, and there was a photo on there. And well, there again, I don't know if Isaac even had my Apple Watch. I don't know if she had my Apple Watch. So no, he has never been exposed to anything in my care, no, especially pornography.
Do you know your son had access to a weapon while in your care, right, to a gun?
He had access. Oh, I know. What she's saying is I had this old antique gun in my drawer, and he picked it up. It doesn't work. If that's what she's talking about.
Yeah, that's the one, I believe you.
It was a revolver.
Sent her a text message, it's an old revolver.
Yep.
And it probably couldn't shoot.
No, it doesn't shoot. It doesn't work.
And so, do you understand how being dismissive of these things and you being in law enforcement could give her concern?
Well, I'm not dismissive of every allegation, but when you receive text messages from her that are pages long, and this happens 3 times a day, most people become dismissive of this stuff. I mean, she texts me every day. But when
Anthony, a 2-year-old is a weapon of mass destruction.
starts taking, when I can't have access to my child, that's when, or when I'm having to answer an allegation, that's when it becomes a concern.
You've, during your career, performed investigations, correct?
What is that now?
You've performed investigations
Bottle.
in your career as a law enforcement
I
officer?
have.
Have you investigated child abuse?
No, I've never been a child crimes investigator.
Okay. Do you understand that you have a specialized knowledge, training, and experience as to investigations and as to testimony that most people don't possess?
I definitely agree that I have knowledge and experience on investigations, but
Would you?
no one is ignoring her concerns.
I don't know.
I've gone and answered all the questions that I needed to answer. And even the ones that she hasn't, when she would just say stuff, I would tell her, even as far as her concerns about his cancer treatments and things of that nature.
Do you understand why she would be legitimately concerned that your ability to communicate with and be a part of the law enforcement community may give you some
Hi, Rose.
special access or ability to communicate with people in the law enforcement community that others wouldn't have?
I believe that she now believes that just because of her paranoia theory.
Okay. And you've said twice today and agreed that she's not physically abusive of your child.
No, I don't think that she's physically abusing Isaac, but my concern is neglect, where maybe she's not paying attention or not, just like we're talking about the G-tube, not cleaning the G-tube like it's supposed to, it can become infected. Also, because of her issues that she has with chemotherapy, I don't know, is she giving him the chemotherapy pills? There's really no way to test that, especially if I'm giving him the chemotherapy pills. The only way to test it is whenever I get him to take him straight to the doctor and see if he has any of that in the system. But usually when I get him, I will give him the pills, and so that is my concern.
How would you characterize the level of trust between you and your child's mother?
I mean, right now, I would imagine it's pretty low because of all the false allegations I've had to endure.
You stated that when DFACS visited during the home visit, you didn't have guns out and things like that.
No, and I also showed them a lockbox that I have that I would keep my guns in. I'm not a big gun person. I only got like 2 guns anyway.
But you said you knew that you were being investigated by DFACS at that time.
That's true, yeah.
Did your child's mother, my client,
And there, that happened. What you think just happened, I think really, really did just happen. But I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to go back 10 seconds. And we're going to listen to that again. Ready?
did your child's mother,
What did he just say? Did I hear that wrong? Drunken says I heard it correctly. Beck says I heard it correctly. Kay says she heard it. Oh my gosh.
my client, recently offered to let the child visit with you in a park?
She did, under her supervision.
Okay.
And that was on a Wednesday.
And did you yell at her during that conversation?
I don't know. I don't know if I did or not.
Did-
I have a pretty loud voice, so maybe she felt that I was yelling at her. I don't know.
Did you,
But I told her that I was not going to meet her in a park and allow her to be my supervision.
did you tell her you had a visitation schedule through the courts?
Yes, but and that's because she did not have Isaac when I went to pick him up on those 3 occasions.
And you told her, in fact, you're going to go by that visitation schedule because she's violated it, and now we're going to court and she's going to pay.
That's right. I don't know if I said pay. I didn't sound like I said pay. I said you need to contact your lawyer because you will have court on Friday. And this was Tuesday, I think it was.
And bring the child to court because you're going to pay.
I never said I never said pay. I said bring the child to court and contact your lawyer. I probably said it because I'm tired of your shit.
If I told
Let Mia, Mina, hello.
I have a recording of that conversation, and you did tell her that.
Okay,
Do
well,
you have a reason to believe?
I wouldn't have any reason. I don't know every word that I said, but I do remember having a conversation with her and telling her that you need to be in court on Friday morning and contact your lawyer.
And when you came down here, the Department of Family and Children's Services called you and said you had an open investigation down here.
That is correct. That was on my way to pick up Isaac on Tuesday.
And you had enough relationship that you said, okay, well, I'll just come by the office?
Well, I don't know anybody here at this DFACS here, or even at the sheriff's office. So they said they needed to do an interview with me.
Oh, Kelly. Every day. I mean, that is hard every single day. You are the best mom ever, ever, ever. Thank you.
And I said, well, I'm in Telfair County. I said, so let me pick up Isaac, and I'll just come by your office and we can do it here.
And you believe your child's mother needs a psychological evaluation?
I do.
Do you,
I requested that through DFACS.
do you think that, would you be opposed to you having one as well?
Nope. I even said that. I told him I would take one also.
And you have stated that there are things on your iPad that your child should not be exposed to. You understand that?
There's no pictures of nude people on my iPad whatsoever.
But isn't your granting access to the iPad and the Apple Watch how your child is getting exposed to
I'm
these things?
still watching you all.
Let's go on to something
No,
else.
ma'am,
Hold on just a minute. Let's go on to something else, Mr. Green. He's made an ample explanation to me about the pornography and we don't need to dig in that hole any further.
Smoking. So they're worried about the child who probably still is nursing, breastfeeding, can see pictures of naked boobies? Okay. Okay. Well, whatever. I'm so sorry, Linda.
I have nothing further at this time. That's fine.
All right? I don't think we need any redirect. We can call you next week.
Okay. Call Miss Bunyard.
Ma'am, if you'll come and step up in the witness box for me, please. Once you get there, if you'll stand behind that chair for me, raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do apologize. This is not the mother, guys. We have her testimony before the mother gets up.
Yes, sir.
All right, if you'll have a seat, upon being seated.
In my
if you'll
shower.
State your name for the record, and then for the benefit of the court reporter, if you'll spell it for me, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
My name's Erica Bunyard, ERICABUNYARD.
All right, Mr. Cannon's got some questions of you, then Mr. Green may have some questions of you, and then if they don't ask all the right questions, I may have some questions, okay?
Ms. Bunyard, how are you employed?
I work for Telfair Wheeler DFACS.
Okay. And what exactly do you do?
I'm an investigator for CPS.
Okay. And how long have you been doing that?
3 years.
Okay. Now, have you recently became involved in a case concerning Isaac Biddick?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how did you become involved in that case?
We received a report from the hospital with concerns of physical abuse against Mr. Bidu.
Okay. And what have you done to this point to investigate the case?
I have met with both parents. I have spoken with law enforcement. I have spoken with the hospital, and the hospital in Bibb County and the hospital in Atlanta.
Okay. And at this point, what have been the results of that investigation?
All of my collaterals do not feel that this is in Mr. Biddix's character. We had a parental fitness assessment done on both parents yesterday, and that showed some concerns for Ms. Brock, not Mr. Biddix.
Okay. And what kind of concerns did that reveal?
That Ms. Brock has untreated mental health and that she needs a psychiatric evaluation, and that due to her being so revengeful towards Mr. Biddix, they are concerned that she will hurt Isaac to get back at him.
To this point, does any of the evidence in the investigation point toward Mr. Biddix being abusive to Isaac?
There is videos that Ms. Brock has on her phone, but there's no physical evidence.
The video show him doing something to the child or some
No,
injury to the child.
no, he's had like little marks on his forehead, and he's saying, "Daddy hit me in the face,"
Okay.
in the videos.
And so let me make sure, so these are videos taken by Ms. Brock of the child saying
It's not damning at all. Just wait. Just listen.
this?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And the initial report that came from the hospital, also,
Hospital.
Bibb County, mentioned that mom was telling the child what to say.
So based on your investigation at this point, do you have concerns about the child being in the full custody of Ms. Brock?
Yes, sir. Just at least until she gets a mental health evaluation, a psychiatric evaluation.
Thank you.
Cross-examination, Mr.
The hospital told Child Protective Services that the mom was telling the 2-year-old to say, "Daddy hit me in the face."
Whose opinions are you relying on when you're stating that these people have concerns?
Southern Counseling Services is who did their parental fitness yesterday.
And how much experience do you have with that type of service?
Sir,
How much experience do you have with that type of service?
we do parental fitnesses on almost every case that we have, if there's any concerns like this. So 3 years I've been working with this company.
And in 3 years, how often have they had concerns like this?
I'm sorry.
In 3 years' time, how often have they had these type of concerns?
I've never had the concern of the mom physically hurting a child to revenge the other parent.
And you don't have anything personally to base that
I guess.
opinion on, do you?
When I met with Ms. Brock, I noticed some mental health concerns, and that's what initiated me to request those parental fitness exams. But other than, no, I've only spoken with her on the phone and met with her in person once.
Do you have any reason to believe let me state that. Do you have any evidence she's ever physically hurt her child prior to today?
No, sir.
Okay. And do you have any other reason to believe she would hurt her child?
That's really a loaded question, because when somebody is in a manic state, you can't make those predictions.
Okay. And what is your training in psychology?
I have a degree in psychology.
Okay. And are you licensed in psychology?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you have the ability to diagnose mental illness?
No, sir. That's why I hired a professional that can.
Do you have the ability to prescribe medication?
No, sir.
And do you know do you have personal knowledge of my client's medical health, mental health diagnosis?
Only what she has told me.
Okay.
I
Georgia.
do have release of information signed by her and plan to contact her prior therapist, psychologist.
And how long have you been investigating this?
I think that the initial report came in on the 2nd. I met with her
2nd of December
2nd of December.
this year.
Yes, sir. And
I can't remember exactly, so I could be wrong, but I think this is something like Pulaski County.
I met with her last Thursday.
Do you usually come to a conclusion that rapidly?
No, sir. I mean, we got this parental fitness done quickly. And when I found out it was court today, I asked for them to send me those ASAP so that I could, they called me concerned yesterday. The provider did.
And is anybody from the provider here today?
No, sir.
No further questions, Your Honor.
I don't think we need any redirect.
No, Your Honor.
You may step down, ma'am.
I can't put subtitles on. It takes YouTube a minute to process and get the subtitles ready. So I can't do them during a live stream. Or at least I've never seen how.
And you're excused from your subpoena. Thanks for coming.
Oh, I think it's time.
That's your 2 witnesses.
I've used my
I
witnesses.
think it's time.
All right, Mr. Green, we're gonna take, well, let's tell you what is. Well, go ahead, Mr. Green, call your first witness. Ma'am, you can go or stay, it doesn't matter whichever way you want to do. I mean, you're welcome to stay if you wish to.
I call Michelle Brock to the stand, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Brock, if you'll come take the stand for me, please. All right, if you'll raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
You can have a seat upon being seated.
Can
You'll
I move
state-
this mic? Or
Ma'am,
can you, I don't know if you can hear me.
ma'am,
Okay.
earlier I had expressed to you that while I talk, nobody else talks,
Oh, okay.
and that you need to listen to what I say. Please understand that under the law, I have the ability to assess your behavior as
Oh,
well as your
yes.
testimony. So your ability to follow my instructions has a bearing on how I make my decision in this case. If you'll state your name for the record and then spell it for the benefit of the court reporter, please.
All right. Michelle Brock, Michellebrock.
Ms. Brock, how old is your child?
He's 2.
All right. What's your relation?
Every day. And I have been since the day he was born. And I have a visitation agreement with his father where he gets him Tuesdays and Thursdays in the evening, and then he gets him every other weekend. But other than that, it's me being his primary caretaker.
And have you always followed that plan exactly?
As far as, well, during his cancer treatment, we, made different arrangements. So, yeah, we have, made different arrangements.
Were those arrangements by agreement?
Yeah, by agreement with Mr. Biddick.
And have you prevented Mr. Biddick from having his court-ordered visitation with your child?
No, I don't believe I have, because I have expressed concerns with the things that have been brought up today in the court. But I don't believe I've prevented him from seeing his kid. In fact, I've actually offered him to, join us for events like Easter, Christmas events. And many of those events he turned down. And he chose to, spend time with his friends instead, or go to golf games, or so. No, I don't believe I have done that at all.
Right, and have you had a amicable, a friendly working relationship with him in the past as far as
I would say
visitation?
so for the most part, because there are times where, I've given him more time than what the court order states. And it's just up until
You shush,
recently,
Kelly.
I have, expressed my concerns about, some of the things that Isaac has came home and said. And, so it was basically up until back in June is when all this started.
Is that when you first started noticing? some
Well, I would
changes?
say, let me correct myself. I would go back to April. It was around the time when I
work.
was staying with him. Isaac was on a research cancer treatment called Blina, and he needed to be close to his hospital. And so since I live in Telfair and I lived over an hour away, I didn't want anything to happen and me be so far away from his doctors. So I did move,
No, I got a problem with your directions. You go to the Walmart, or you go towards Dunkin' Donut, or you go towards McDonald's, or you go towards Costco. North, south, east, west.
or he made the suggestion to stay at his house, and I lived there for maybe a couple weeks. And that's when I observed a lot of the questionable behaviors about abuse, and my other son has also witnessed this as well.
Do you believe your child is safe when he's in his father's care?
No.
Do you have cause to believe he's not safe?
Yes.
What is that?
Well, I witnessed him fling Isaac into the house by one arm, causing him to get a huge carpet burn all over his face. And he would scream at him at the top of his lungs to shut up. And Isaac would just be screaming. He would neglect his emotional needs, cause physical injuries on his body. And then our son has also been exposed to pornographic images, which Mr. Biddick admitted that he had grabbed his Apple Watch and that there were pornographic images on the watch. And there's also pornographic images on the iPad that he lets him use. This is the mark that was
Can
left
you
on
identify
Isaac's.
the picture?
Oh,
Before she testifies, she's got the document's got to be admitted, Mr. Green.
okay, admitted as a picture of my son Isaac's forehead. Who took it? I took it.
And is that a photograph of the incident you're describing?
Yes.
And is that a fair and accurate representation of what he looked like after the incident?
Yes. Mm.
Objection.
Okay, wait. Listen, I've seen kids get into phones, tablets, watches, everything, computers. I've seen tiny, itsy bitsy little tiny little human beings walk up into a computer and get into it. So I'm thinking that there is no way to lock a child out from a device.
No objection.
D1 is admitted without objection.
Do you have any concerns about Isaac's father's ability to care for his child?
Yes.
Are those concerns about his medical issues?
A number of concerns, yes. But medical is one of them.
All right, as to the medical, what are your concerns?
As far as the medical, I'm sorry, what did?
Yes, as to the medical,
Oh,
what are your?
well, he doesn't come to the appointments. He's missed the last 2 doctor's appointments. There is a time where Isaac needed a blood transfusion.
Hi, Hedwig.
And we were in the hospital, and he goes out of town. And so I'm in the hospital over 30 hours with our son, and I'd asked him if he could stay and help out, and he said no. you know, to get my mom to do it. And so she had to come to the hospital and bring us food because we didn't have, you know, I didn't have anything there, any supplies. I was running out of stuff, so I had to call on my mom to help us.
Hi, am I?
Do you know what medications your child's on?
Yeah, he takes chemotherapy by mouth at this time. He takes, sometimes I have trouble pronouncing it, but he takes Bactrim on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday. He takes, I believe it's methotrexate, but now it's in a liquid form. So I give that to him every Tuesday. Except he does need LPs. So the time when he's scheduled to get a lumbar puncture, he does not take the methotrexate by the liquid kind. But he does take a chemo pill Monday through,
Maybe, but the dad was asked what medications he took, and the dad could not say. And she just listed them off.
or Sunday through, you know, a weekly basis. And then Monday through Friday, it's like half a pill or, and then 2 days out of the week, it's a whole pill. So those are the medications that he takes at
Do
this
you
time.
administer all those medications to your child?
Yes, I do.
Do you administer them as prescribed?
Yes.
And is there a specific method?
Did you
which
hear
have
that?
been-
I'm going to play that yes again. She lied. She lied on stand. Ready?
That he takes at
Do you
this time.
administer all those medications to your child?
Yes, I do.
Do you
Liar.
administer them as prescribed?
Yes.
And is there a specific method at which you have to administer these medications to your child?
Mom does.
Well, I do it by mouth because when we talk to the doctors, even one of the nurses at Atrium said that it's better for him to do things by mouth because we shouldn't rely on the G tube since it's not going to be, you know, in there for the long term. So that's, you know, we just do it. I do it by mouth.
And have you attempted to communicate your concerns regarding these medical concerns with your child's father?
Yes,
And what was his response?
he does. He just didn't seem to care. He went out of town, so.
Do you have other concerns about his behavior?
Mm-hmm.
What are those?
Well, mainly his aggression towards Isaac. He gets very angry a lot at him,
Michigan.
verbally abusive, physically abusive. So those are my concerns.
Have you attempted to reach out to Child Protective Services or law enforcement agencies to address these situations?
Yeah, I initially went to his work in June. June 1st, I believe, is when I made the first report to his work about the abuse and the guns being left out. That's another one.
No, it's Georgia.
And I didn't hear back. They said the Internal Affairs Investigation officer said that his major, Gregory Rachel, would be following up with me, but I never received a follow-up call. So I sent an email in October, and then that's when they
Hi,
sent the
Terry.
letter stating that he just followed company policy about the guns, and
He's
you know, they
Popo.
never really addressed the child abuse issue.
He's a copper.
Can you describe your child's behavior while he's in your care?
He's happy, a very happy, sweet, loving little boy. Loves everyone. He'll greet them, and he's very social, very vocal. You know, he's smart. So
Do you see any differences in his behavior at custody exchanges?
yes, I do.
What are those differences?
He comes home angry, aggressive, hitting. At one point, he smacked me in the face with a toy fishing pole. He'll go up, put his face up against the wall, screaming, just very agitated. Now he's showing behavior changes where he's keeping me up at night, waking up at 2:30 in the morning, you know, wanting to call the police to get help. So I have, you know, noticed a lot of behavior changes in him.
And your child, as we've established, is not yet 3 years old, will be 3 in February. How well does he speak? Does he
He
talk?
speaks very good. Yeah, I've been working with him on his language, and he knows
He speaks good. I've been working with him on his language.
all his colors, shapes. He's just very smart.
Does he communicate any concerns to you about his father?
Yes.
What does he say?
He says, "Daddy
Your
hits
Honor.
me in the face."
Hearsay,
Hearsay.
plus the child's less than 3 years old.
Hearsay, let's go on to something else. Objection sustained.
Do you have photographs, videos, and other documentation of your concerns?
Yes, I do.
Um, Have you had medical professionals substantiate any of your concerns to you?
Yes, I took him to the Stephanie Blank Center in Atlanta, where he was seen by a psychiatrist.
Nice.
And
Nice,
he
Beck.
has concerns that he's being psychologically abused. And
Your Honor, I'm gonna
Miss
object.
Bunyard
That's
has
hearsay.
Mr. Green,
Miss
hold on, man. I'm not gonna tell you again, when I'm speaking, no one else speaks. Do you have that understanding now?
Okay.
Mr. Green, quite obviously, you're asking her to tell this court hearsay. And I'm gonna ask you not to do that, and I'm gonna sustain the objection.
Yes, Your Honor. Have you filed reports with Child Protective Services?
Yes, I have.
Did they close any reports, or what's the status of those?
Well, the Bibb County closed it. It's still open with Telfair. Miss Bunyard, he told her at her visit that his dad hit him in the face.
Yeah, Mr. Green, I'm gonna disregard that remark. That's hearsay.
And
Ma'am, you can't say what the child said to you. Okay?
do you understand that? You can't testify to what
You can have
the
all of
child's
them.
telling you.
All of them.
Oh, well, he told Miss Bunyard. That's what I
Well, the
said.
child's telling someone else, so.
You
Okay.
can't say what somebody else said.
Oh,
to
okay.
anybody.
Have you sought evaluations or assessments from child psychologists?
Yes.
Did you at any time want to stop cancer treatments for your child?
No, I did not.
Do you believe your child's father is attempting to bug your phone?
I believe he has before, yes, in which he admitted that he was able to track me to Jekyll Island.
So people down south tend to speak slower than people up north. So if you watch a lot of videos from up north, like Michigan, they'll talk a lot faster than down south. I don't know why. I mean, Texas isn't really slow though. But anyway, Georgia definitely is.
Does your child have issues breathing?
I'm sorry?
Does your child have breathing issues, asthma, or anything?
Oh, no, he does not.
Why did you take your child to Atlanta to be examined?
Because I took him
Or
to
it's
the
that.
hospital at Atrium, and he told the doctors there, and they didn't really listen to his concern. So I took him to Atlanta because there are, a lot of trained professionals in Atlanta.
Are you currently taking any medications?
Not at this time, no.
Are you prescribed any medications?
I was, but I stopped taking it in May due to the side effects that I kept having from them.
Have you had discussions with your doctor about this?
No, I did not have any discussions about it.
Are these medications for your physical ailments?
No, it was for, the, depression.
How long have you had depression?
Well, I got diagnosed in 2009 with depression, and so I did struggle with postpartum.
And were you on medication since 2009?
Yeah.
Were you, at some point in time, driving down the road, giving a police officer a middle finger?
I believe I did give him the finger, yeah.
Can you tell us why you did that?
Well, because I feel they've been, protecting a child abuser.
Why do you feel that way?
Why do I feel that way?
Why do you feel police officers deserve the middle finger for protecting a child abuser? What makes you?
Well, it was, I don't know, I guess it was, I was just upset.
Do you think that individual police officer was the one who was protecting a child abuser?
I mean, I just was upset that the
My
police had
question
been.
now, did you think that law enforcement officer was the protecting a child abuser?
Not necessarily that one, no.
Do you? Have you previously lived with Mr. Biddick? I'm sorry.
I had never previously lived with him. The only time I stayed with him was during the Balina cancer treatment.
And do you feel that there's some camaraderie or some special bond between law enforcement officers?
Yes, I do,
What makes you feel that way?
because of what my son, trying to reach out and, well, I mean, he's told them, and there's a 911 recording of him, I let him call 911, and there's a recording in Bibb County of him, asking for help. And so he hasn't been getting the help that I feel like he needed. So yes, I do feel there's some sort of protection.
Let me make sure I understand that. Your son called 911?
Mm-hmm. He's told,
Isaac called 911.
well, he asked,
Is that a yes or a no?
yes.
Okay.
Would you like for me to elaborate on that?
Oh, feel free to.
Okay. So when he went and he's told my mom also, and she did tell him to call the police. So,
Yes,
I got to object here, so again,
Ms. Brock,
okay,
we've talked about that. Okay.
all right.
Ms. Brock, do you have issues with the females whom Mr. Biddick keeps company with?
No, I don't know them.
Are you familiar with who takes care of Isaac when he's not able to?
No, I'm not familiar with that.
If, as he stated, he would leave Isaac in someone else's care, are you familiar with who that person he's talking about would be?
No, I'm not familiar, and our current order states that he has to bring Isaac back to me. That's what's in our current Houston County order.
And is your child currently at a level, are his numbers that we talked about, good enough to where he can currently go to daycare?
Well, right now I have a letter, we're still in communication with the doctor about the daycare. Right now I do have a letter stating that she doesn't feel it's, he's able to be in daycare at this time. But we haven't really addressed it again, the daycare issue.
Would you have concerns if your child was in daycare?
Yes, I do, because of, he could get sick and then have to deal with all of like the sicknesses. And now that he has a G-tube in, I'm afraid another child may, be curious and pull at it. So those are some of the just concerns I have about him being in daycare.
Do you feel that it is necessary at this time for this court to do something different than the current visitation schedule?
I'm sorry?
Do you feel it's necessary at this time for this judge to change the current visitation schedule on a temporary basis?
With Mr. Biddick?
Yes.
Yes, I feel it should be supervised.
And how would that benefit your child?
Because of the abuse that he's been experiencing under his care, I believe if there was somebody able to monitor and make sure, our son is being taken care of properly, that would benefit Isaac.
And should the judge choose to not allow visitation with his father and give you custody during a temporary basis, are you able to do that?
Yes.
Would you be able to provide for your child? What's your schedule?
Well, right now I stay home, but I DoorDash whenever, I have my mom keep him a couple nights so that way I can DoorDash. But I'm in a financial position where I'm able to pay all my bills and everything and still not even have to work.
And if the court, whatever the court grants to the extent that you have visitation and custody of your child, are you going to make sure the child is safe in your care?
Absolutely.
Would you ever intend to harm your child?
No, definitely not.
Are you willing to undergo psychological evaluation?
Yes.
Do you think the court should have its own person, like a guardian ad litem appointed, to do an investigation for the court and make a report to the court?
Yes.
Okay. So, are you asking the court to do that?
Yes.
What would you like the court to do today?
Request a guardian ad litem supervised visitation.
And would you change the current schedule, or do you just want it to be supervised?
He is absolutely awake, and he listened to every single word crystal clearly.
Just supervised.
Nothing further at this time, Your Honor.
Cross-examination, Mr.
I
Yes,
can't
I'll
change
make
it
it
again. No way, I'm
Um,
scared.
Now, Ms. Pollock, just to make sure I heard you right, so you were on psych medications from 2009 until May, and you just stopped on your own? Okay. And the doctor didn't advise you to stop, you just decided to stop because you wanted to?
Yeah.
May of this year?
Yeah, I was having bad side effects from the medications.
And you had been on for 15 years?
Yeah.
Okay. And you said you were diagnosed with depression. Were you diagnosed with anything other than depression?
In 2011, they said bipolar disorder.
Right. And have they ever said anything different since then?
No.
Okay. So you are diagnosed with bipolar
Yeah, they said
disorder?
in 2011, but 2009 it was the depression, and then 2011 they said bipolar. So I've received different things from different doctors.
Okay. This attorney started out great.
And you said, and when did you say you stopped? I'm sorry.
In May,
In May. Do you recall in May when you called your mother and said you had things coming out of your pores and she had to call Mr. Biddick to come get your son?
I did call my mom and tell her that I was having bad side effects, but I don't recall about the pore thing, no.
Okay.
But I did tell her about, the medicine was causing like a lot of buzzing sounds, body pain, just a lot of bad side effects with it. And if you look I was taking Prozac, and it has a whole list of side effects for Prozac.
So you didn't go to your doctor and say, hey, I'm having all these side effects, I might need to change my medications?
No, I've been focused on Isaac, so it's actually been, hard to get myself into the doctor, really.
Now, do you recall after you made the first allegation when you and Mr. Biddick and Isaac was sitting in the hospital and he said, did Mama hit me in the head?
That was in but that was in the hospital at Atrium.
Right,
And Michael was standing right there beside him.
okay.
So-
So basically, you're saying that if Michael's standing beside him, he may say, Mama hit him, but if Mama's got a camera holding it on him, asking him to say it, he might say, Daddy hit him. Is that right?
No, that's not what I said.
Okay. All right, well, that's what I heard. So you said that the reason he said Mama hit him at the hospital was because Michael was standing there?
Well, no, I don't know why he said it at that time.
Yeah. So why would you know why he would say Michael hit him?
That's why I'm getting him into a psychiatrist to be evaluated.
So you've gone from Bibb defects to Bibb County law enforcement to a Macon hospital to an Atlanta hospital, and now we're at Telfair County defects?
Well, the Atlanta hospital brought in the Telfair County defects, considering since I live here. So,
Isn't it true that you're just searching for the place to say what you want them to say?
no, that's not true.
Well, you've already said, if you've already had all these other people say there's nothing to it, why do you keep seeking the opinion of somebody else?
Well, the only people that said there wasn't anything to it was Bibb County.
Now, you testified that you have not denied his court-ordered visitation?
Well, I don't feel I have denied him.
Okay,
No.
so for this last month, you have not allowed him to have his court-ordered visitation until on the eve of trial last night, is that correct?
Well, he said he's only missed 2 days of his visitation. That was the Tuesdays and Thursdays, so that's not a month, that's 2 days. So it was the Tuesday afternoon and the Thursday afternoon, and he doesn't really communicate with me, so I was at the house waiting around. And so I tried to contact him, but he ignores my calls a lot. Just like this morning, you saw, I tried to call him last night to, talk about the childcare arrangements for this morning for court, and he ignored my phone calls last night. So he brought him to court this morning, and we had that issue. So a lot of times, he's ignores me
No, it's not hearsay when he's sitting right there.
and doesn't communicate well. So
And
then it
if
causes
he's such a
lots of-
danger, why did you let him take the child last night? The day before court?
What do you mean?
I said, if he's such a danger to Isaac, why did you let him take the child last night, the night before court?
Well, that's why I'm glad you admit that, he's danger.
No, I said, I'm asking you, if you feel he's such a danger, why did you let him have the child last night?
I didn't want to let him have him, but I knew you'd come in here saying I'm in contempt of court if I didn't. So that's why I let him have him.
Okay. All right.
But he needs supervised visits.
I have a lot more, but I don't think that, I'm not gonna go any further today, Judge, because I do have one more question. You testified a while ago that you only have to do DoorDash a couple of times a week because you have the ability to pay your bills. Is it from this GoFundMe page you set up that was supposed to be for his leukemia treatment?
Well, the GoFundMe, I've sent Michael's stuff to his house. He has a whole bedroom suite at Michael's house from purchases that I made on Amazon and had it shipped directly. And that was used from the GoFundMe money.
And what else did you use the GoFundMe money for? Your credit cards and your roof?
Well, the house that we're in now, it's owner financed, and so the house needed a new roof like a couple months prior before his diagnosis. So yeah, I had to take out a $8,000. I was kind of sold a what is it called? I don't know if it was a rundown. What do you call it? Was it a rundown house? I don't know, but I had to make a lot of major repairs, so Isaac needed a roof over his head. So yeah, I did use part of the GoFundMe to pay off of that credit card and pay off the card that I had used for the roof. And that was freeing up income that I had to, buy food and other necessities for Isaac.
Now, you're the one that set up the GoFundMe page, right?
Yeah.
And it says, help needed for Isaac's leukemia treatment?
Well,
Isn't
I
that what it
believe the
says?
description talks about, that's the heading. You couldn't leave a long heading, it's only so many characters. So in the description, I believe it was put for, needs. throughout because I wouldn't be able to work. And I haven't been working like full-time because I've been the one primarily taking him to his appointments.
Why in these messages that I have tendered today, why are you so obsessed with whether or not Mr. Biddick is seeing other women or?
I'm not
things of
obsessed.
that
I
nature?
could care less, honestly, if he dates. What I'm concerned about is my son having to see these pornographic images, on his iPad. So
Well, you were telling him he couldn't take the child to Blue Ridge this weekend, and on the time where he took the child to Blue Ridge before, where you say that the hot tub pictures are pornographic and all, you are yelling about, did you take this whore, or did you take the other whore, or did
Well,
you
yeah,
take?
because he had invited somebody named Tiffany Everidge on the trip, but I don't think she ever went on the trip. I don't really know who was on the trip, but I think this was some random girl he met off the dating app. So he had invited somebody else on that trip, so.
No further questions.
Anything on redirect, Mr. Green?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we're gonna take about a 5-minute break, then I'll come back and listen to whatever argument y'all have, and then I'll make a decision.
Yeah. No.
Yep,
You got 5
that's Fozzie. I'm almost positive that was Fozzie.
minutes.
Gee, I wonder how the judge is going to roll.
We got a call.
Let's listen to the closing statements to see if any of them can change his mind.
Easy goes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Wait. Look at that chair. Isn't that lovely?
All right, Mr. Cannon, you're the moving party, you got the opening and closing.
I'll just close, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Green.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, as we stated, we're here today for the child, and there's clearly a lot of back and forth between the parents as happens, and there's obviously mistrust on both sides. And my client is doing her best to take care of her child, and she's a mother. The child has cancer. The child has significant medical needs. She's concerned about the child's physical and mental well-being and health. And as a result, she is further.
Actually, people who are on their feet all the time should have a nice chair at work. I'm on my feet all the time, and they provide one stool, wooden, tall, very tall stool with no back or arms or anything. It's just a tiny round seat. And I'm very short, and the stool is very high up. So for me to climb up onto it to be able to sit down during my shift is hard. And then to get off of it is even harder. And also to stay on it without falling the hell off is the hardest. So I need a good chair. I need a chair where I can just comfy sit down for a second in between tables. Judge don't need a good chair. He can have the stool.
Concerned when the father is not seeming responsive to her questions and responsive to her concerns, and she has concerns that go unaddressed, and then she tries to reach out and get help, and it just appears that she's being penalized, even though the evidence is, well, nobody thinks she's abusing the child, and nobody thinks she's not taking care of the child, but that she's doing probably more than most people would. But she's a concerned mom, so I don't know where you draw the line and say, I'm just gonna let this alone with my 3-year-old child with cancer and not worry about it. And so that's why we're here today, is because she has
That would be
done these
lovely.
things. She has gone to these other agencies. She has done to this point, all that she knows to do, which now includes coming to this court and asking this judge to assist in making sure this child is taken care of and protected. And her concern with the way this is happening is that it seems to be a move toward some shift against her to modify that she doesn't have custody, but it's not because she has done something to this child. And her concerns are that the father has, that he has acted in unsafe ways. He's exposed the child to things he shouldn't, and he's just kind of dismissive about it. And we understand this is a dangerous world. We understand that kids are going to get hurt, but it adds to the level of frustration because of his significant number of years in law enforcement, his knowledge, his training, his experience, and his connections. And so she doesn't have any of that. She's by herself. She's her child's only advocate. And that is what she is trying to do, is be the child's voice and be an advocate for that child and stand up for that child in the best way that she knows. And if the court feels like, well, there's some weight to their arguments as far as, she's going a little bit far, then hopefully this court can finalize that too by putting evaluations in place, measures in place to get independent studies done and have a good picture of what's going on, and so that moving forward, there'll be a clear understanding with both parties as to how this child is to be taken care of and who's to take care of this child. And we're asking that while that determination is being made and during the pendency of this case, that because of the mother's concerns, which I believe to be valid, then at least make the visitation supervised so that that will quell that aspect of it. And then we can uphold the current order. I don't think she has any problem doing that. She said she doesn't. She's not willfully intended to violate any court order, and she can certainly and has said she wouldn't do that going forward. She's going to take care of the child. She has no intention to harm the child.
I have a
They made
chainsaw.
some type of rapid evaluation through Department of Family and Children's Services to this court, but that is still an ongoing and active investigation. And so I think this court kind of can step in and really supersedes that and has more authority to say, hey, I'm going to take over. I'm going to have discretion over what happens with this child. I'm going to make sure this child is safe. And that is why my client is here, Your Honor, is she does believe in the power of the court and the discretion of the court and the ability of the court to have the child's best interest at heart, and is asking that her belief of the best interest is supervised visitation with the father and getting these evaluations done. And so get someone in place, guardian ad litem, psychologicals, get everything evaluated, and then when we come back, we can make a full assessment. Thank you.
Mr. Cannon?
Your Honor, the evidence today has shown, first of all, they haven't presented one piece of evidence to substantiate any type of abuse of any kind. In her testimony, she says that they have tablets with porn all over it and that the child has access to and has, and that, he's abused the child as many times and all this kind of stuff. But there haven't been any evidence except one little picture of what looks like a rash on the forehead. What there has been plenty of evidence of, and most of it by Ms. Brock's own admission, is that, we've got a child that's 2 years old, and she may have coached the child to say that dad hit him one time. The child comes out just spontaneously at the hospital, and she didn't deny it and said, Mom hit me. And she said it's because he was standing there. What's really disturbing is a couple of things that came into clear view today. Number one, we had somebody that was diagnosed 15 years ago with bipolar disorder that decided in May to just stop taking her medication without consulting with her doctor, and that's when the real craziness began. Most of the stuff we talked about today has been since then. Most of the wild text messages that we put into evidence have happened since then. So she's not even taking care of herself. She's not taking care of her own mental health. That also explains the paranoia, why she thinks everybody's out against her, why she's having to drag the child.
Most moms never take care of themselves. And if most moms had to deal with what this mother has to deal with, there's no time to take care of yourself.
Out all over the state. And if there's anybody harming the child, it's her. Number one, she's keeping the child away from his father when he's supposed to see him. Number two, she's holding a camera on the child, recording, saying stuff like, "Oh, Daddy's mean and Daddy hit you," and all this kind of stuff, coaching him to say that. Apparently having the child call 911 and say stuff. I mean, we're talking about a 2-year-old child. She talked about all these other people who's heard the child make the same allegations, but the day was her day to present evidence, and she didn't present any. I can understand why my client is concerned. And of course, the defects investigator testified that they're concerned. She's off her meds. She seems to think that's fine. She hasn't said she's gonna go to her doctor and get that straightened out. She's playing games with Mr. Biddick. She's acting like she's in McRae when she's really in Macon, and she's got him chasing around, trying to pick his child up, and then says, "Oh, well, if he, had looked at my text, I said I was in one of Robin's, or I was here, or I was there." And then when he finally runs her down.
Don't worry, this is just once, and it only lasts a second. Everything's fine. We're good. Everything's good. Okay, 2 seconds. When I'm getting these videos ready, they go a lot faster than when I'm playing them. Gaps like this are a second to me when I'm getting them ready. Then when I hit live stream, they last too long. What's going on?
Because if that stuff's some pit.
All right, less than 10 seconds.
Law enforcement to law enforcement. Nobody substantiated a case against Mr. Biddick yet. And we would submit, and plus his concerns that he made about her maintaining the YouTube and all that kind of stuff. And that stuff's important. Even after all he's been through, he says, "I don't think she's abusing the child." And, but he's worried about neglect, because if you have a person with these kind of psychological diagnoses and they're not on their meds, manic depressives, I do Social Security disability cases. Sometimes they in the bed for a week, and then sometimes they up cleaning the house for a week. That's what happens when they're not properly medicated and treated.
Brilliant.
But she's putting him through a lot, and she's putting his child through a lot. And, she needs to deal with her own problems, and we're asking at this point in time that he be granted temporary primary custody, and however the court sees fit, that she would be able to see the child, at whatever the court feels would,
He plays
would
the
be proper
jug.
at this time.
He plays an upside down pickle bucket. No, he plays the guitar. Guitar. Carol, I'm super stoked you were here. Thank you so much.
Excuse me.
Do you want me to speak or do you want me to?
You can tell me.
He sends 922 in child support, and then, 404 for property settlement agreement.
And
Hey,
you
Broken
receive
Tile.
Social Security benefits?
I received SSI for Isaac, for his cancer, and that's, I believe it's 384, could be 364, 384.
So that's for Isaac. All right. On a temporary basis, the court awards to the plaintiff, temporary sole custody of, Isaac. Ms. Brock is not to have any, visitation with the child until, she has a complete mental evaluation. And then upon that occurring, until this matter comes back before the court, her visitation will be solely at the discretion of Mr. Bick in regards to the timing of it, the manner of it, and how often it occurs. The Social Security check of 384 will be redirected if it's not already going to Mr. Bick. It will be redirected to Mr. Bick. Ms. Brock will sign all necessary papers within 10 days to have it redirected. And that'll be her obligation as far as child support in this matter on a temporary basis. Any questions?
Your Honor, we would assume this, but he has been paying her child support. We assume that we suspended.
Oh, yeah, it abates. He'll have all decision-making powers. His obligation to pay support abates. Any other questions, Mr. Cannon? Mr. Cannon, any other questions?
No, Your Honor.
The only problem I have with the decision was, and tell me if I'm wrong and I heard it wrong, I was focused on chat. The judge said that he gets custody until the mom gets an evaluation. The judge did not say he gets custody until the mom gets an evaluation and does what is recommended. So usually they say and does what is recommended. And I didn't hear him say that this time.
Mr. Green?
All right, as to the mental evaluation, does the court have any guidelines, or is it up to her discretion completely, or?
Did you hear what I said, Mr. Green? After the mental evaluation comes back, her visitation will be solely at Mr. Bick's discretion.
Yes, Your Honor. As to the mental evaluation, does the court have any
Sort of
preference
on, sort
as to
of.
who performs that mental evaluation?
No.
And when that's completed, we will report to the court, and then we can ask the court for another hearing.
You always have that right, Mr. Green. Anything else?
That's all, Your Honor.
All right.
Do we have the right
Elvis.
to appeal?
All right, that'll conclude this matter. Good luck to everybody.
Thank you.
Okay. Now I have to know. With my hotspot, should I try to do an OJ? Or should we just hang it up for the day? It's been 2 hours. That's a healthy stream. I don't know. I can't see and hear what you guys see and hear. So I don't know how bad it is. I don't know if it's choppy. I have no idea. And no, get her off. I can only do one. If I do one, I can only do one clip because Judge Fleischer's stream starts in soon, and I have a feeling that I'm needed today. I can't say more than that. Okay. Okay. It sounds like it's a no for the OJ. That's fine. I will fix what's going on and I will do OJ tomorrow easily. Sorry about that, guys. I'm going to look into fiber too. Well, thank you guys so much for coming out today. I really, really, really appreciate it. And I shall see you. Hey, if you guys have time, stop by Judge Fleischer's live stream today. If you have time, like, stop by. All right? Have a great day, guys. See ya.
Got these lights that goes digital dreams. Through the screen, her blue eyes gleam. Wicked humor, sharp as a knife. Her stream sparks electric light. Late night when the world sleeps, she's the friend that always keeps. Giggles roll like thunder loud. She stands out in any crowd. Kathy's laugh cuts through the gloom. Eyes blue like a summer's bloom. Her humor dark and twisted sharp. In a way, there's no alarm. Freedom tales late into the night. Her laughter feels just right. Even when my world turns gray, with a giggle, she lights the way. Her eyes hear a sky so blue. In her jokes, there's a truth so true. With each stream, she brings the light. Turns dark days into bright. Kathy's laugh cuts through the gloom. Eyes blue like a summer's bloom. Her humor dark and twisted sharp. In a way, there's no alarm. Stringing tales late into the night. Her laughter feels just right.